Broadcasting live from the WGBB World Headquarters here in New York. This is the Big Fat Joey Show with your host, Big Fat Joey.
Hey, son, Big Fat Joey Show. Biggest thing on radio. What's up?
Hey, Big Fat Joey. Wow, it's Sunday again. I was hoping for warmer weather, but it's just not there yet.
Not still, today's supposed to get up into the low 60s. I mean, it's not.
Well, that's what they
yet.
said about Saturday. It's supposed to be that, and it was like 45.
That's true. Yesterday it was 45.
I don't think they got it right yet.
Tomorrow's supposed to be 70, 71, so we'll see. But you know what? It's Sunday. Fun day. Big Fat Joey's on the air. What's going on?
Yeah, and also now I'm starting to hear the birds. When do we change the clocks?
I believe, 2 weeks from today. 2 weeks from last night. What's that, the 13th? Something like that? Yeah.
All right, so we're getting there.
You know what? Let me look at my little handy-dandy calendar.
I know it's soon.
So what do we have here today? Yes, so we turned the clocks back the night of March 12th to 2 a.m.
So we're almost there.
Yeah, and I think the sunset will now be after 7 o'clock. So that's good. So we're rocking and rolling. Everything's pointing in the right direction. Hopefully it'll get warmer sooner than later, and we'll also have a little more sunlight coming our way, and we'll have a little more fun outside.
Well, hopefully no more snow. I'm ready to put the shovel away, so I'm hopeful.
Yes. Got to winterize the snowblower, put the shovel away, get everything ready, start getting ready for the summer, bring all the summer stuff out, get everything going out there, get the chairs out, whatever, in the hot tub, get the barbecue going, all that good stuff.
And what's with the gas? Talking about barbecue and gas and stuff. What's going on? It's like higher than ever.
Yeah, I didn't see the propane prices. I don't really think those have moved. Well, they might have moved. I didn't really look. But yeah, gas. What I paid? About 5 days ago? I paid for regular. I think was $3.79. Today I paid $3.29, so 50 cents in about 5 days. The gas has risen, and that's just for regular, 87 octane.
That's just crazy. I remember handing, like when I was in high school, $20 and the car was filled up.
Yeah, I had in the late 90s. I had a Bronco, big boy, one of the OJ type Broncos, and that gas was 99 cents, $1.05. So it was 35-gallon tank. It cost me $35 to fill it up. Now, 35-gallon tank at $4. $140, something like that to fill it, and that thing sucks down gas, so it's definitely not for the faint of heart.
That's just crazy, but I'm so happy. I have to tell you, yesterday I went to the Salon Martone because my hair color needed a little fixing up. I was sat in the chair for 5 hours, and it came out absolutely beautiful. Yeah,
your hair girl Ashley did a wonderful job, and Jen, the owner over there of Salon Martone in East Northport. Great people. It was great to see them. Haven't seen them in a bit.
And I'm so thrilled. I love it. The color, everything. 5 hours. I couldn't believe it, but it was so worth it. And now I'm put back together.
Put back together again and ready for the summer.
I'm ready for summer. I'm ready for spring. I'm so excited. I can't wait for my next appointment. It was just lovely.
It was. You know what? You were over there for 5 hours. I had some things to do, so it was good. I got, ran to Lowe's, picked up a little odds and ends. There's always something going on around the house, so I had to get, some odds and ends. So, but 5 hours, I didn't think you'd be there for 5 hours, but you happy with it?
Yes, absolutely, 100%.
All right. You can't go wrong with that. You definitely cannot go wrong as long as you're happy. You're happy makes my life happy.
And we went, what else? You went over to get your Chinese food, which we were so jonesing for.
In Garden City, great place. Orchid over on Franklin and Stewart over there.
I think you ordered the whole restaurant.
Yeah, I've been going there for 30 years now. Good Chinese food. Very happy. Big Fat Joey is bigger, fatter, and happier. All because of it. It was some good eats.
You had a little feast going on.
Yeah, some good eats. Puppy, he's our little dog Jonas, he was more than happy to partake. And he was extra ravenous today.
Yes, absolutely. So you'll have a nice lunch. You got some leftovers, you said?
Yeah, yes, yep. We definitely have. Well, I think actually we probably save it all for dinner because we have that, and picked up some pizza. P3 likes his pizza, so we partook in a little smorgasbord of eats.
Yep. So who else you have?
So speaking of smorgasbord, we also have on our show today Musica DeAngelis, author and writer of The Binge Watchers Guide to the Golden Girls. The Golden Girls, a quintessential classic TV show from the late 80s, early 90s, I think. It's just a great show, and we all know, Betty White, who passed away this past Christmas.
Total legend.
Total legend. Just a couple of weeks shy of her 100th birthday. She passed away at 99. Great book, and just for upfrontness, Marissa is a cousin-in-law, so just let everybody know that. But it's a great book, fun read. 180 episodes of The Golden Girls, each one of them better than the next. 4 senior women living together, Miami, Florida, having themselves a good time, and just it's a lighthearted show, a fun show, and everyone could relate to it. We all hope to get to retirement. We've all had grandparents or other relatives who've lived in Florida doing their thing, and it's just the trials and tribulations of 4 widowed women who are, semi-retired / retired living in Florida.
I can't wait. I'm excited for this.
Definitely exciting, everyone. You got to pick that up. It's sold everywhere books are sold. Obviously, easiest way, Amazon Books, Amazon.com, right to your door in 24 hours. We also have on today's show Paula Social. They are one of LA's hottest groups, and we're going to be listening to the latest song, She Believes. Paula Social aim to leave their mark on the music scene out in LA and across the country, and I'm so delighted that we have them on today, and we'll be playing their latest hit song. And to wrap up today's show, we have on with us Shelley Nicole and her latest hit song, Mahogany. She's also out of LA, just like Marissa and Paula Social. This is an all LA show being broadcast in New York, but we have Shelley Nicole on with her latest hit song, Mahogany. And we're going to do like we did last week. We're going to wind up stitching everyone together because we have a jam-packed show. So me and Sil will be back at the end to wrap everything up. So without any further ado, is our interview with Musica DeAngelis, writer of The Binge Watchers Guide to the Golden Girls. All right, everyone, let's welcome to the line author of The Binge Watchers Guide to the Golden Girls, Musica DeAngelis. Marissa, welcome to the Big Fat Joey Show. How are you?
Hello, I'm good. How are you?
Doing well.
Hey, Marissa, we're so excited to have you.
Oh, I'm so excited. So excited to talk to you guys. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for being on. And, it's like Sin said, super excited. Betty White, a national icon.
She's a legend. Yeah.
Passed away just shy of her 100th birthday, right around New Year's Eve. She had about 2 or 3 more weeks in mid-January to hit 100. Sweet lady. She's the last of the Golden Girls, and a great show from the 1980s. So I'm going to ask you right off the bat. We're talking about a binge watcher's guide to a show that's been off air, I don't know, 25-ish so years, but it's still on cable, it's still in reruns, and it's still a great show. What got you involved in writing a book about binge watching The Golden Girls?
Oh, my God. Well, first of all, I've been a fan of the show since it began when I was 8 years old in 1985, watching it with my grandmother. So my family said I've been preparing for this my entire life. But I was in a writing workshop, and I was unemployed in 2019, and I was writing a writing prompt about how bored I was and how I wasn't doing anything with my life. And I said, the only thing I'm doing is listening to a podcast about the Golden Girls. And there was a publisher in my writing workshop who interrupted me. And she said, I need someone to write a book about the Golden Girls. And I said, I've never written a book before, but I said, I could write a book about the Golden Girls. I'm not much of a fan. And she said, let's talk later. And that was the beginning. and that was almost 3 years ago.
Okay, well, that was my next question. So how long was the process? It took roughly from inception to publication took about 3 years.
Yeah, writing it took about, actually, it was probably close, just a little over 2 years, the whole process. But writing a book, I mean, when I first thought of it, I thought maybe I could do this in 6 months. And then it turns out writing a book, especially a TV show that's 180 episodes, and I don't know, when you're a big fan of something, you have a lot to say. It was not 6 months. I was writing constantly, and it took close to 2 years, really, the entire writing process.
And who do you relate to the most? Like, who would you say you are as one of the Golden Girls? Which one would you be?
Oh, anyone that knows me knows I am Sophia.
Sophia Petrillo.
Oh my God! There's, I'm 4'9". I'm Italian. I'm sarcastic. That is unquestionably a Sophia. I dressed up as her for Halloween last year.
Okay.
Which I kind of wanted to do for like 30 years. You barely needed a costume, a gray wig, a wicker bag, glasses, and I was off.
So, like, do you find a certain place like that you write, that gives you inspiration? Do you like lock yourself in your room in the evening? Like, what kind of process is it for you?
Well, I had to learn I didn't even have a writing process for writing a book. And during all of this, the pandemic happened, and I moved across the country because I was planning on moving to Los Angeles from New York. So I tried different ways to do it, and I just learned that a big kitchen table is needed, and a break in the middle of the day to go for a walk is a good idea. It's really good to write maybe. I mean, this is for me. Some people are morning people. Anyone that knows me knows I'm not a morning person. I do my best work at night, but definitely 2 shifts of writing are best. Do a little bit, walk away from it, and then do a little bit more. Those are my best days.
So let's get into the nitty gritty. You said there's 180 episodes of the Golden Girls. Which is your favorite episodes? I guess give us a little bit of background on the episodes, because I'm sure my audience who are listening, once again, Golden Girls is an iconic show. I'm sure most of the people who listen to my show have seen all, if not most of the episodes. So which one is your...
Well, they better have.
Yes. I mean, listen, it's on camera. I was watching, especially when Betty White passed away a couple of weeks ago. It was all over the TV. But so, which one do you
relate to
or enjoy the most?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's like when you love a favorite band or musician, and someone says, "What's your favorite song?" You can't necessarily name a favorite song, but there is a chapter at the end of the book that says if you have to watch one episode, which one would I recommend? And that is an episode at the end of the first season where they all get sick with the flu, which I think is a good episode to show kind of an early episode where they're all in it. They all get sick, obviously. And I picked this episode before the pandemic. It wasn't because of it's flu related, but they all get really snarky with each other. So there are great insults all over the place, but it has kind of a tender, sweet surprise ending, which I think the best episodes have. So that is the one that I chose for that reason. But I rate the episodes at either 1 heart, 2 heart, 3 heart, or 4 heart. And I give most of the episodes 3 hearts because I'm a fan. But there are a lot of, you could look through the book for the 4 heart episodes. And I also give my favorite episodes per character or per certain themes. And so if you like a certain character, you could look at like the 6 or 8 episodes that I love that, star that particular actress.
Yeah, and it was and it still is such a relatable show, and 4 women living together. One of them is living with her mom, Sophia, and Dorothy. Dorothy's the child. She's like probably 65 in the show, I guess. And she's living with her mom, Sophia, and then there are two other friends. And and all came together by happenstance. And if I think Blanche put up a flyer in the supermarket, right? And that's how everyone came together.
Good. Yeah, that episode is. I think it's the end of either the first or second season. It's called The Way We Met, and they actually show you how they all met and how Sophia ended. Well, the pilot actually shows you Sophia kind of moving in with them, so they lived together first. And they were, for anyone that doesn't know and hasn't watched it, there are 4 women over 50 living in Miami. 3 of them are widowed, and Dorothy, the Arthur character, moves in there, and then her mother, the 80-year-old Sophia, played brilliantly by Estelle Getty, moves in with them. And there are like 4 basic archetypes. There's the trampy one, the ditzy one, the wise sage, and the very pragmatic, serious one who's the teacher, and that's Bea Arthur.
Yep.
And, they're best friends. And, it's a very, what surprises me now is a lot of kids, I call them kids, in their 20s, but even teens are reading the book, and not just reading the book, but obviously watching the show. And I think that's just, fantastic.
And you know why? Because there's nothing good on TV, really. I mean, all this, reality TV is pretty good, but there's
so much on TV, and yet sometimes nothing on TV.
Right.
Yes.
I mean, you're a little younger than ourselves here, but back in the day, growing up, you had the Golden Girls. Before that, you had Happy Days, Laverne and Shirley, Mork and Mindy. You had these great.
But Seinfeld, they had Sex
Seinfeld,
and the City, all these
Well, Sex and the City is a little later on, but I'm just saying, you're trying, and back in the day, you only had your 10 channels. I'm saying you only had your 10 channels of TV. Now you got 10,000 channels, and like you just said, 10,000 channels, and there's nothing to watch.
Well, you know what? A lot of people say that this show, they watch it, they can keep it on with their whole family.
Right.
Their grandparents, watch it with the grandkids, and it's a show like that where there are kind of racier jokes, but I remember when I watched it as a kid, they went over my head.
Right.
And so, it's clean enough. And I also think shows are TV shows now are like movies. They're complicated. You have to watch them from the beginning.
Exactly.
There's intricate references and plots. And if you get a binge watcher's guide for them, it's like you need a literature degree, and you need to understand time travel. And it's like, sometimes you just want to watch something about family and friends with jokes that make you laugh out loud and that you relate to on many levels. And, even as a kid, when I watched it, like, I related to the show. I was, 8, 9, 10. And, I knew people in my life, friends my age, but people in my family that I said, oh, they're like that character. And you could watch any episode and, nobody, even if it's about older women, none of the main cast dies at the end of the season.
Right.
Like there's no huge reveal. It's just a lovely show to make you laugh. And I read while I was researching, there was constantly these things that I had to add to the book. And during the first or second month of the pandemic, when they put it on Hulu, there was the number of millions were streaming the Golden Girls. It was like one of their most successful streams. I added that in the book.
Yeah, and you know what? Golden Girls, and as Cindy mentioned before, really, in my mind, is very relatable to Seinfeld. Seinfeld is another show that, one, you have friends and family like those characters on the show, and two, it has some risque, scenarios, but you can be watched by the whole family. You don't have to say, oh, well, you got the young kids here, or I got my grandparents here. Someone's going to get, a little embarrassed. Yeah. Seinfeld's one of those shows that you can relate to, and it's a clean enough show that from, 8 to 80, everyone can watch.
Yeah, that's another one of my favorite shows. Like, I just think, I could always sit down and watch 6 episodes of The Golden Girls. I could watch 6 episodes of Seinfeld for sure.
Well, that might be your next book. I don't know.
Oh, no. Not saying I want. Oh, my God. That is a huge undertaking, the Binge Watchers Guide to Seinfeld.
So who was the most supportive to you to write the book? Like, who encouraged you the most?
Oh, interesting. Well, I might have to say my Aunt Marilyn was very supportive. I called her all the time, and, she would ask me how my book was doing and, what I was planning to write in it. And, I added her into the dedication for that reason.
Very nice.
And, her and my mother are, now they're talking about how many times they're mentioned in the book. A certain episode reminded me of them. And I mentioned there's an episode where Sophia is going to, it's not Costco, but like a warehouse store, and she's buying everything. So that definitely reminded me of my mother.
That's funny.
And there's another episode that says that Sophia's nursing home burned down on September 4th. And that is my Aunt Marilyn's birthday. So
Okay.
I mentioned her. So my father was reading the book, and he goes, "Hey, Marilyn's mentioned a lot in this."
They could that could be like a game. They have to count how many times their name is mentioned.
Yeah, I'm just happy they're reading the book.
Yeah, no, that's excellent. That's excellent. And
Now, speaking of the book,
Yeah.
you said it's 180 different episodes.
Mm-hmm.
What was one thing you wrote about that you were even shocked? Being a super fan, a diehard fan since you're 8 years old. What was one thing like, wow, I didn't know that. Wow, that's crazy.
I did. There were like one or two things where I was like, I did not know that. I did read about, I knew that Estelle Getty, who played Sophia, had stage fright. I had read, I'd read that over the years.
Okay.
But one of my reference books is called Golden Girls Forever. And it's a different kind of book than a Binge Watchers guide. This is just a super fan guide where every episode has like 3 pages on it with quotes from the writers and the actresses and the guest stars about the experience. So it's intense, whereas I wanted something where you could just flip through the episode and a page and read it in a minute about the episode, that kind of experience. But I wanted to research everything, so I knew what to pull.
Right.
And the writers talk about how she would be fantastic in the beginning of the week, Estelle Getty, and then towards the end of the week, she would start to get really afraid at the prospect of the live audience. And they would have to cut her lines and sometimes do her scenes without the audience. And that was really, I didn't know that it was that bad.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, watching the episodes, you would never know. I mean, all the women on there were flawless actresses, and never would have
and
thought.
she didn't play that. You mix people up with their characters. She played such a feisty character.
Right.
Who was always saying everything, but she did say that she was intimidated by the other actresses. She was kind of, even though she was in, I think, her late 50s when the show started, but she was a newbie, and she had done theater work, but she had done 2 movies, small roles in movies in the 80s, but they were so experienced, the other women, and she would get so nervous. And one of the writers said, she is the only actor or actress you'll ever meet that's going to make you cut her lines.
Yeah, most actresses and actors want more lines. They don't want less.
Yeah, they're like, give me the monologue, give me the extra scene. And Estelle Getty was like, oh, you're going to need to cut that. I can't do that in front of the audience. So I was like, oh, no, he's my favorite character.
Now, this book, we spoke about it earlier, it took about 2 to 3 years from, inspiration to publishing.
Yeah.
What was your favorite and least favorite part, or what is your favorite and least favorite part of writing or putting a book together?
Least favorite part is, it's not that I ever had writer's block, because this was so specific that I knew exactly what I had to write. It was very clear, but, you still go through periods of unmotivation, and there were days and weeks where I didn't work on the book or write anything. And it's the same thing when you're in school and you should be studying and you're not studying, and that kind of feeling. And that was tough because with the pandemic, I didn't have an excuse of, well, I've been out and about, and it's like I just, was losing my motivation after doing so many episodes in a row, that kind of thing. So that's tough. But it's also, I found that when you're writing episode recaps, there's only so many ways. I'm sure I would run into this on Seinfeld. Like, how many times can you say, Kramer is just so funny?
Right.
You're like, I'm on episode 172. I've run out of words.
Right. How can, right. You don't want to, repeat the same words over and over, to.
Yeah. And you do, I did when I was editing. I was like, oh my God, I definitely described Sophia as adorable like 8 times in the book, but she's adorable.
Right.
Now, did you ever meet any of them?
No, I never met any of them.
All right.
I know.
Yeah. Well, listen, and I somewhat subscribe to not meeting people that you
that's
look
true.
up to, because me and Sin, we've met a handful of people that we've looked up to, and unfortunately now we don't look up to them. It's like, yeah, I should have not have tried to meet that person, because what I had imagined in my mind and how they treated me when I met them, not good.
That's true.
So you
yeah, they say never meet your heroes, right?
Right. So you might have been better off not meeting them. Not. I mean, definitely not Betty White, because
she does
everyone loved her. There's not a bad word.
Not
a bad word about her.
Yeah.
I'm sure the other 3 women as well. But something like you just said.
Sometimes like they let you down.
Right. They let you down.
Were they friends anyway? Like you hear from Sex and the City that this drama going on. Were they really friends?
Well, I didn't go too much into. There's a lot of clickbait online about Betty White saying that Bea Arthur didn't like her, and she did say that. And Rue McClanahan did a one-woman show where she addressed it. But I don't think, like, Bea Arthur, if she were alive today, she would never say, because the articles will say Bea Arthur hated Betty White, and Betty White says that. Bea Arthur would have never said she hated Betty White.
Right.
They worked very differently, and they were very different women. And I think Bea Arthur, a few times on long days, like, Betty White was such a superstar to work with. She was, here's something I learned, actually. Something else I learned. Betty White was off script, like, on the first or second day of reading, which is almost insufferable. She was such, like, a goody two-shoes that she knew the whole script on the first day of filming. Like, she was that good. She played to the audience. She was literally perfect. And she was that kind of person. And I think, not that Bea Arthur was jealous, but
just a different style.
She was like ready on day 2. But I think, like, after a while, it's like when you're working with someone who's just in a good mood all the time, because I'm certainly, like, not in a good mood all the time. I think, that maybe it wore on her a little bit, and she'd be like, oh, I can't stand this woman. But I think it was all in kind of when you're friends with someone, but they're very different than you.
Right. Everyone has a different style, just how they handle things or situations.
Yeah. Or like, but it's also, it was a coworker, and, they work differently. But I will say that Bea Arthur made the call to end the show after season 7, and the other 3 wanted to go on, and they did the spinoff, and the spinoff was not great. I say that in the book. I never even finished. I'm a super fan, and I never even watched all of it. It's very gimmicky and just played out to me, like what I watched of it. And so Bea Arthur, really, the artistic integrity it took to be like, you know what, we've done all the plots. It's at its high point, like, because usually shows after 7 seasons, like, start to get weak. The writers get, like, a little lazy. They're doing the same kind of character point.
Right.
And so I think Bea Arthur was right, with that.
And a big thing in television, and they like to use the phrase "jumping the shark." There was an episode of Happy Days with Fonzie out in California. But a big thing in TV is when a show is going downhill, they always introduce a baby to the show. And obviously, the Golden Girls really can't be introducing a baby to the show.
Well, what's interesting is Golden Palace, they changed the location. They were working at a hotel, and they did have a little kid that, like, I don't even know why he was at the hotel. He lived there or something.
Right.
So you do see that, like, they were moving in that direction of, like, they probably, if they did an 8th season, would have had, like, a neighbor who was always hanging out with Sophia for whatever, like, so I think the Golden Girls, in my opinion, does not have a weak season. When I was rating them, there were just as many 4-star episodes in the 7th season for me than in the 2nd season. That is very rare.
Yeah,
So
it was a steady show. It was from all its years, just like Seinfeld, for all the years that it was on, it was a top-rated, steady show. It wasn't waning. You didn't, for instance...
Well, Seinfeld 8 and 9 waned because also the middle seasons were just so strong, and I think when Larry David left, they weren't. But the show was so good, though, that when you do watch seasons 8 and 9, I think, of Seinfeld, you're still like, wow, it was still so funny. It's just that I think Seinfeld, those middle seasons, the best TV that ever was, so it's just such a high mark. But those seasons later on, I'm still like, wow, it was still pretty funny towards the end. It just wasn't, like, my favorite episodes are mostly in those middle seasons of Seinfeld. But I'm like, I could watch that all day.
Right, yeah.
When I'm not watching Golden Girls.
Right, if you're not watching Golden Girls, you're watching Seinfeld. Now, for those who want to binge watch the Golden Girls and make sure that they know all about the Golden Girls in fabulous Miami, how can my audience, first and foremost, get the book, as well as find, follow, and keep up with everything Marissa DeAngelis?
Oh, well, I would love to tell them. Well, the easiest way is to go on Amazon.com. It's on Kindle and paperback. It's also on Barnes & Noble. You could download it at Barnes & Noble. iTunes, Google Play, and you could also go, of course, my computer's freezing, but I want to give you also my publisher site, which is Riverdale AVE books.com, and you can buy it there. So a bunch of places is the answer.
Perfect. Well, Marissa,
and you
go ahead.
And my social media account, you're all welcome to follow, of course, is the title of the book is too long for Instagram.
Yes.
So it's Golden Girls Binge Watchers Guide.
All right, Golden Girls Binge Watcher Guide. Yeah, I know.
That's a little lesson I learned. My title of the book is too long for Instagram.
Yes. These social media accounts like to limit to 30 or 50 spaces, and really, it's not a lot when you get down to the nitty gritty. It's not a lot.
Yeah, I was like, that's unfortunate, but it's perfectly fine.
All
and
right.
I hashtag the Binge Watchers Guide to the Golden Girls. So
hashtag, or for the older people in the crowd, the pound sign. For those Golden Girls who are listening, it's called the pound sign. So pound sign.
Well, my mom wouldn't know either of those. So they'll be lost.
All right, then. Well, Marissa DeAngelis, author of The Binge Watcher's Guide to the Golden Girls. Thank you for being on the Big Fat Joey Show. It's been a pleasure, and I wish you nothing but luck and success in all that you do.
Thanks, Marissa. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Take care, guys.
All right, everyone. Let's welcome to the line Desi DeLorio and Ricky Pajot of Parler Social.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Big Fat Joey Show.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thank you for being on. Super, super excited to have you on. Loving the music. You have a new album. You have a new single that just dropped on the 28th of January called She Believes. Yes. But before we get into all of that, tell us about yourselves and a little bit about Parler Social.
Well, Parler Social. So we like to describe ourselves as if Cab Calloway, Lauryn Hill, and Outkast had a baby. That's what we describe part of social as. That's what part of social sounds like.
Okay.
It's retro futuristic music, a little bit of inspiration from, the past meets the future, all meshed up into one. Ricky and I have been working together for quite some time now. We're a married couple as well, so we make music together.
In more ways than one.
Yeah, in more ways than one, correct. And we get along, so that's great.
That's always good.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it.
Well, how did you both get involved in music? Did you just one day, or family roots in it, or something you've always enjoyed as a child, and and now as an adult you're able to make it happen?
I personally grew up in a family of musicians. My dad plays the bass. My big brother plays the flute. I'm the middle child. I play piano. And my little brother plays drums. My uncle plays the guitar. He actually lives in New York as well. He just dropped an album as well. And for Desi, she grew up in a house of music lovers. So they collected a whole bunch of, music, from everything from jazz to doo-wop. So she was, always surrounded by music and basically self-taught. So I went to school, studied, got my bachelor degree in jazz. And she, on the other hand, is self-taught, never took a lesson. But we still managed to communicate and understand each other. I think when you go into a situation with an open mind, anything can happen. Some beautiful things can happen. So that's how we started working together.
And I believe in that. If there's something that you love, just because you're not officially trained in it, doesn't mean you can't excel at it. I know plenty of people in all walks of life, that never went to, engineering school, but they work in construction, and they might not necessarily be able to sign off on a building, but they know what they're doing, they know what they're looking at, and they just got to bring in the engineer to say, yeah, what that guy did is fine. So no, that's great. And how did you two meet?
We met in Montreal. We're both originally from Montreal, Canada.
Hey.
And
basically in the scene, the R&B scene in Montreal. That's how we met. And the beauty about Montreal is that you can be playing in any style of music on any given weekend. So the community is really small. So that's how we met.
Yeah, the musical community is very small. So I had heard about Ricky. He was the new cat on the scene, and long story short, we just connected. We connected on all aspects.
And you're making it work.
Correct.
Yep.
We're doing all right.
Now, your new single that dropped on the 20th of January, She Believes.
Yeah.
What is it all about? Where did it come from? How did you put it together?
So the inspiration behind the song was to inspire, motivate, and empower girls and women from all walks of life, all over the world. I know the frustrations that I have as a woman in the industry, in the music industry, and all the doors have to knock down and still knock down. It's tough. It's tough to get heard. It's tough to be seen. It's just a message to keep pushing through. You can achieve anything you put your mind to. We could be whomever and whatever we want to be. Sky's the limit. So it's just a motivating, empowering song that couldn't come at no greater time right now. We really need this positive message right now.
Especially with the news of the first female justice that's about, well, not female, but first Black female justice. So like this is said, couldn't come at a better time.
No, definitely could not have. You know what? The music industry being what it is, yes, it's definitely, it's not your regular 9-to-5 job where you send a resume in, they look at you, they interview you,
right.
And you're brought in. Well, that's great. You know what? We need more music like that. We need more inspirational music, especially in this time of COVID. Especially now in the winter time. We just need a little more light to shine on our paths and to keep us moving forward.
Exactly. Exactly. And just a strong message. So much is going on, like to put out some positivity. You know, we also have a challenge that's just started, the She Believes Challenge, and it's you know, all women, whether it's your mother, your sister, your daughter, alone, you can do the challenge on your own. Post videos on social media, hashtag She Believes Challenge. And we want to see women do like a little, you know, dance routine and post about what they do. If you're like a fierce accountant or little girl wants to be a future flower shop owner, that's what we want to see. Want to see all these beautiful posts come up. The message is so strong. We want to see these beautiful videos, and we'll share and post on our social media as well.
Well, that sounds great. Now, speaking of social media, how can my audience find, follow, and keep up with everything Paula's social?
Well, they can find us on Instagram. We are at Parlor Social on Instagram. That's PARLOR Social on Instagram. We are Parlor Social Music on Facebook, and at Parlor Social on TikTok and Twitter as well.
And parlorsocial.com.
You know what? Social media is where it's at. Well, Desi DeLorio, Ricky Pajot, Paula Social, thank you for being on the Big Fat Joey Show. I wish you nothing but love and success in all that you do.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Have a great day.
All right. You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
She could be what she wanted and set out to be. The driving motivation comes on possibilities. She stands with courage and strength in the face of adversity. Her fierce determination, independent and free. She is a fighter, she is a warrior. She can overcome any obstacle. She is the dreamer, she is a champion. She will never give up or ever back down. She is a mother, everyone's hero. She'll do whatever to protect, love, and guide you. She's been defeated, but never broken, because there's nothing she can't handle. Cause she believes that it's true, that anything is possible, yeah, yeah. You have scars from the battles you fought through to get you this far. Your trials and tribulations shaped you into who you are. She takes on all the pressures with calmness and dignity. She can move the highest mountain and make it seem so effortlessly. This queen's a scholar, she is a boss, fighting for freedom at any cost. She is the leader, she is the president, a peacekeeping force to really represents. She is the student, she is the teacher, she's a rebel with cause, a true achiever. She fights for justice, committed activist, because there's nothing she can't handle. She believes that it's true, that anything is possible, yeah, yeah. That is true. Everything is going to turn out well. 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 She believes that it's true, that anything is possible. She believes that it's true. She believes she can, she will do anything she wants to. She can, she will achieve anything she wants to. She can, she will do anything.
All right, everyone, let's welcome to the line singer, songwriter, and actress, Shalia Nicole. Shalia, welcome to the Big Fat Joey Show. How are you?
Hello, how are you? I'm doing great.
I am glad to have you on. I love getting my multi-talented indie artists on the air with myself, and you've got so much going on. I want to cut right to the chase. First and foremost, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, for sure. My name is Shalia Nicole. I'm from South Central LA, and I am a singer, songwriter, actress. I came up in theater, and after high school, I decided to, really dive into songwriting and singing and, becoming an artist. So I've just been working on my craft since like the age of 9, and I'm finally able to just, live the dream.
And that's what it's all about, living the dream.
Yeah.
And avoiding the nightmare. Now, you're you're writing some new music, and one of your songs is a re-release, Mahogany. Tell us a little bit about that and why you're re-releasing it.
Oh my gosh, yes. So Mahogany, I wrote during the pandemic, which the first pandemic, because I feel like we're in a second pandemic right now, but the first one in 2020, I wrote Mahogany, and there was a lot going on. There was a lot of racial tension and just police brutality and all kinds of things in the Black community. And I wanted to write a song that was, something that we could be proud of, something that was uplifting, and just a reminder of how beautiful, Black men, Black women, Black families are, even in a time where, society would have you think different. So I wrote this song, and it's just a celebration. So we're re-releasing it for Black History Month to kind of just, go with everything that is, Black history. So I'm super excited to re-release it because it's just a beautiful song, You
also have coming out this spring, which I hope gets here sooner than later. I'm in New York. You're in sunny California, but I'm in New York. And it's just still, still cold here in February. But you have a upcoming EP called Work Apart. Tell us a little bit about that and how that came to be.
Yes. So this EP is called Work of Heart, and that's exactly, the title says it perfectly. It's a work of the heart. Like, I've been writing these songs for the past 2.5 years, and it's just a journey that the listeners will get to go on with me from, heartbreak to love to just excitement and just revelation, learning things and self-discovery. And I got to work with some Grammy award-winning producers on this project, some Grammy-nominated artists. So I'm really excited because we have an amazing body of work that I just think people are going to love. Like, I love it, so I just can't wait to see, how people take it in and what they think about it.
And that's what I find a lot of the artists like yourself that I interview, they love to get the feel of their audience, what the audience thinks, what the audience feels about it, their reaction to it. And, music, cinema, television, I'll throw that in there as well. The people who perform in those mediums love to see, like yourself, the reaction of their audience.
Absolutely, because it's very personal. It's like you're talking to a friend, essentially, just for me, especially because I write my music. So everything that I write is it's real, my experiences, my life. And so to share that with my listeners, with my fans, and, people who love the music, it's just you want to know. So what did you think? How do you like it? What's your favorite? How did it make you feel? And that's a major part of it.
And I'll mention this again, and I guess almost in every interview I mention this. So my audience already knows where I'm going with this. Just like Taylor Swift, she writes from the heart. She writes from experiences. If you could be just as fractionally as successful as her, you'll be all right.
Oh, right. Okay. Just a fraction. Yeah, she's amazing, and her career is just wow. You see where she started and where she is now. That's an amazing journey for her.
Yes, it definitely is. And you know what? She's got her loyal legion of fans, just like yourself. And just like her, you also venture into other genres. And you're in a movie coming out. So what's that all about?
Yes, I'm super, super excited about it. So, so happy. It's called Remember Me, and it's the story of Mahalia Jackson's life. And it's an amazing cast who's come together to tell her story. We have Lettucey, who will be playing Mahalia Jackson as an adult, Janet Hubert, Keith David, Columbus Short, so many amazing actors that I got to work with. And I'm playing Mahalia Jackson as a teenager. So it was cool to be able to tell this amazing story that people don't normally, hear about. So I'm happy that I was a part of it and that people get to really just hear her story.
And when's that coming out? Springtime, possibly?
Hopefully. I'm not sure of the date. It should be sometime this year for sure, though.
All right. Everyone's going to have to keep an eye out for it. Now, what I'm also super excited to hear about, one of my favorite artists, Kanye West. You were part of his Sunday service. You got to walk us through soup to nuts how that all is.
Oh man, Sunday service was absolutely one of the most amazing things that I've ever been a part of. Kanye was amazing to us. He looked out for us, made sure everything, we needed, we had, and it was so cool to work with a genius. Like, we got to see him firsthand. Like, okay, I like this. Let's add this. Let's add these drums. Let's do this. And what if they do this? And you just see his vision coming to life. And it was amazing. Like, we get to travel the world singing gospel music, like, sharing the word of God. And it was amazing. Like, nothing I've ever done before. And I just met so many amazing people, and just being able to really travel with this group of people and with Kanye, it was life-changing for sure.
He is a musical genius. Just all the music comes out. Just, I've never met him. I don't know him. I just read what I see in the paper. He's very, particular. He's very exacting in what he does, what he wants. And, he doesn't settle for, that's close enough. He doesn't settle for that. He's
no.
An exact figure. And
yeah.
And it must have been amazing to have worked with him.
Absolutely, it was. And he was very humble, so kind to us. Like, I have nothing negative to say about that experience. It definitely changed my life. And I was able to I was like a sponge, soaking up everything. Just being in the same room and watching someone of that magnitude work, you can't help but grow from that.
Yeah, just his energy alone. I mean, if nothing
exactly.
else, just to see him do his thing, you got to get all pumped up for that.
Yeah, and it would be so fun on stage. Like, we're up here dancing, having fun, and he would be right up there dancing and having fun with us. So it was just like, one big family, and it still is.
Well, that's great to hear. You know what? Like I said, I know he came to New York at least once or twice, and I tried moseying out that neck of the woods, but the closer I got to the venue, the more cars, more crowded, and unfortunately, I was like, this is just not happening. It's just I should have left much earlier than I did. And, but I saw it online, and it's a great thing he did, and hopefully he brings that back or some other incarnation of it.
Yeah.
Now, Shalia, how can my audience find, follow, and keep up with all that you're doing?
Yes, please, everyone, follow me on Instagram, which is Shalia Nicole. And my website is shalianicole.com. Everything on there, from music to different shows, everything that I'm doing is on there. I'm not really on Twitter like that anymore, but yeah, if you're looking for me, either shalianicole.com or at Shalia Nicole on Instagram. And that's Nicole with a K, Nikole. Yes.
Well, that sounds great. Shalia Nicole, singer, songwriter, actress. Thank you for being on the Big Fat Joey Show. I wish you nothing but luck.
Thank you.
And success in all that you do.
Thank you so much for having me.
Same here. Have a great day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Born with the skin just like cinnamon. peanut butter, almond blend, or high yellow from what Master did to your great great auntie and them. Oh, you were made special. No matter how they try to make it seem, you have been chosen. Not everybody gets to be mahogany, brown sugar dipped in honey, cocoa brown dripping ebony, so much beauty and complexity, and I love it. I love it. Oh, mahogany, cocoa brown dripping ebony, nothing more heavenly. Clothed in the skin like the strongest cup of coffee, brown like a caramel or toffee, red bone from a Master did to your great great auntie and them. Oh, you were made special. No matter how they try to make it seem, you have been chosen. Not everybody gets to be mahogany. Oh, sugar dipped in honey, cocoa brown dripping ebony, so much beauty and complexity. So much beauty. I love it. I love it. Oh, mahogany, cocoa brown dripping ebony, nothing more heavenly.
To me, we are the most beautiful creatures in the whole world, black people. And I mean that in every sense, outside and inside. And to me, we have a culture that is surpassed by no other civilization, but we don't know anything about it. My job is to somehow make them curious enough to get more aware of themselves and where they came from and what they are into and what is already there. And I will do it by whatever means necessary.
Mahogany, brown sugar dipped in honey, cocoa brown dripping ebony, so much beauty and complexity, and I love it. I love it. Oh, mahogany, cocoa brown dripping ebony, nothing more heavenly.
Sin, what a fun show.
So good. I can't believe it. It's like the end of Sunday for the show.
Sundays go so fast. By the time, we get here, we do this, we do that, but bada bing, the show's already over. You know what? All our indie artists, our writers, our performers, everyone who comes on, I thank them for it because it's what keeps the show interesting, what keeps the show on the air. What are we doing for the rest of the day, son?
I don't know. I don't know. I have a list here. I got to see where I have to start.
Always something. There's not, and I don't, whoever invented 5 days of work, 2 days off, I don't know where they got their math training from, but that just doesn't really work out to be working 5 days and only have 2 days to try to get errands done, relaxation, whatever. It just goes so quick. It's already Sunday morning's half over. By the time we get home, next thing you know, Sunday night, set the alarm, time to go to work for Monday morning again.
Yep, absolutely. Well, that's it. That's the end of the show.
That's it. That's the end of the show. That's what the big clock on the wall, the two hands are converging on us. All right, everyone, this is Big Fat Joey. Big Fat Joey Show here with Sin. Biggest thing on radio. Remind everyone to
make every sandwich count. Peace.